Agreed, Ushla, Tá Fáilte Rómh, go dtí Páirc Seán Mac Diarmada aniu, or tonight, I suppose it is. Welcome to Páirc Seán Mac Diarmada for the draw for the first round of the Smith Monumentals Intermediate Football Championship and Connacht Gold Senior Football Championship. We are a little bit behind schedule as a result of the league final going to extra time, and we'd like to take this opportunity to congratulate St Mary's Kiltarge, who claimed victory over Fianna St Callians. But I suppose the big news that everybody is waiting for will happen and unfold here in the draws for the championship that will take place over the next few minutes. I'm joined here by Vincent O'Rourke, the Secretary of CCC Leitrim, Seamus McManus, the Cathaoirleach of CCC Leitrim, and John Keenan, who is the Secretary of Discipline associated with CCC Leitrim. The draws will be conducted by John and Seamus, and Vincent will be keeping overall eye on what is happening. So we commence as we normally do with the first round of the Smith Monumentals Intermediate Football Championship. And just to explain to you, this is a totally open draw. The 10 participating teams will be placed into a bag here in front of me, and the draw will commence in the following format. The first 5 teams drawn out will be designated home teams in round 1, starting off with obviously team number 1 will be the first team in game 1. And then following that, the last 5 balls drawn out will be drawn out in order, obviously 6 to 10, and they will fill the required spot that is available to them on the away side. So in other words, team number 6 will play against team number 1. So I think that's enough of an explanation for it. It's relatively straightforward. Vincent is about to load up the teams into the bag. And John and Seamus give it a good shake. So it looks like Seamus is holding the bag and John will do the draw. So the first team to be drawn in the Intermediate Football Championship for 2025 is
Alan Gales.
Alan Gales. So Alan Gales will be at home in game 1. Second team. Bornacoola. So Bornacoola will be home team number 2, playing in game number 2. Home team number 3. Carrigallen. So Carrigallen will be the home team in game number 3, followed by game number 4. Team number 4 at home will be Tromahare St Patrick's. And finally, the last home team in game number 5 will be Drumkieran. So just to recap on that, the 5 home teams will be Alan Gales, Bornacoola, Carrigallen, St Patrick's Tromahare, and Drumkieran. So the next team out is team number 6, and this team will be playing in against Alan Gales. Cortletra. So the first game that we know now that will take place next weekend is Alan Gales versus Cortletra. Bornacoola are at home in the next game.
St Mary's.
And they're drawn against St Mary's Kiltarge. Yes, St Mary's Kiltarge, second team. Carrigallen will play Anaduff. Okay, and team number 9 of the 10 will play St Pat's Tromahare. Ballinadlera. So that's St Pat's versus Ballinadlera. And the last team out will play Drumkieran. Kiltubbers. So just to recap on that, the draws for the first round of the Smith Monumental Intermediate Football Championship will consist of the following games: Alan Gales versus Cortletra, Bornacoola versus St Mary's Kiltarge, Carrigallen versus Anaduff, St Patrick's Tromahare versus Ballinadlera, and Drumkieran versus Kiltubbers. So that concludes the draw for the Smith Monumental. So we move now nice and smoothly into the Senior Football Championship draw. This draw is carried out in the exact same format as the previous draw, only difference being that this year we have just 8 teams. So there will be 4 games, 4 home teams, 4 away teams, and it will be drawn in the same order as previously. So the first team that's drawn out will have home advantage.
Melvin Gales.
Melvin Gales, last year's intermediate football champions. They're team number 1. Team number 2,
Mohill.
Mohill, beaten finalists last year, or the winners last year, actually, 2 in a row, are in game number 2 at home. Game number 3.
Fina St. Callans.
Fina St. Callans at home in game 3. And the last home team,
Glencar Manor.
Glencar Manor Hamilton. So the 4 home teams, again, just to recap, are Melvin Gales, Mohill, Fina St. Callans, and Glencar Manor Hamilton. So the next team out will play away to Melvin Gales.
Leitrim Gales.
Melvin Gales versus Leitrim Gales, a battle of the Gales. Leitrim Gales, sorry, just wrong one. Okay, so next team out will play Mohill.
Ballinamore Shauna Hestons.
Ballinamore Shauna Hestons, a repeat of last year's intriguing county final, which went to a replay, as everybody knows. Third game will be Phoenix St. Callans versus Ahowillan. And finally, I think everybody probably has figured out at this stage what the last team out will be. Glencar Manor versus St. Mary's Kiltahart. So just to recap on round 1 of the Senior Football Championship, the games will be Melvin Gales versus Leitrim Gales, Mohill versus Ballinamore Shauna Hestons, Fina St. Callans versus Ahowillan, and Glencar Manor Hamilton versus St. Mary's Kiltahart. So that more or less concludes the draws. It was relatively straightforward this week. It gets rather more complicated, I suppose, as we will go through the weeks, but that's for another week. So I would like to wish all of the teams in both the Smith Monumentals Intermediate Football Championship and the Connacht Gold Senior Football Championship the very best of luck as they're set out on their campaigns over the next number of weeks. And again, thanks to Vincent and John and Seamus for assisting with the draw, and to Brendan and Con in the working away diligently in the background. So, Garamina Mag, and I hope you enjoy the remainder of your weekend.